Well, some young enterprising scientists are using social media to counter misinformation about the COVID-19 vaccine. Shauna in the Cube has been speaking to one of them. Let's get more on that.
You might have seen this post on your social media feeds. It went viral, reaching over 1 million people and over 300,000 likes. It's 5 of some of the most common vaccine myths debunked by a PhD student at the University of Birmingham. Just to give you a flavour of the kind of myths that she debunked, for example, this one, the question as to whether the vaccine has been rushed. She says here that this is potentially one of the most important rumours to be debunked because she says these trials are an example of what can be done with unfathomable funding. And in science, funding equals scientists, equipment and speed. Now, we spoke to Frankie about the use of social media and she says that this is the next generation of social media scientists.
This is the first pandemic in history in which technology and social media have actually been used on a huge scale to keep people informed of information. And in 2020, I think there's 3.6 billion people on social media. Everyone is on their phones all the time. We engage with our phones constantly. So what a brilliant way to be able to reach out to people, especially of the younger generation, as they do tend to be on things like Instagram, and be able to inform them of this information.
Let's head over and talk more about this. I'm going to be joined now by Stephen Evans, a professor at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. Thanks very much for joining us, Stephen, on the programme. You also were a volunteer at the Oxford trial. We've just heard Frankie there talking about the need for science communication. How do you think scientists should be getting the message out about vaccine safety and who needs it?
Well, I really admire the young people. I'm an old guy now. I started in research a little more than 54 years ago. And so it's really good that the young people are also doing their bit to ensure that what is good information is able to displace the bad information. I think that it's really important, as your piece from Scott Morris in Australia said, is that people need to have confidence. And browbeating them and saying that they're simply wrong isn't the best way, but giving them the good information is.
Now, when it comes to kind of some of the news today, we know that from Australia, but also the Sanofi and GSK news, it's disappointing, but do you think it's entirely unexpected?
No, in some senses, one would have expected these difficulties to have occurred with the first few vaccines rather than with numbers perhaps 4 and 5 or perhaps 5 and 6, depending on the way you count them. But it's not unexpected. Nearly all of us in the field will have said we want to trial as many vaccines and develop as many vaccines as we can because we would expect some not to make it through to the final stages. So it's not unexpected. It's disappointing, of course, in both instances in Australia and with the Sanofi GSK vaccine, but not unexpected.
Thank you very much for breaking all of that down for us. Stephen Evans, professor at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. So disappointing news, not entirely unexpected. And when it comes to scientists spreading that message out, according to Stephen, it's all about how you get the message out and transferring it in an appropriate way.
Indeed it is. Shauna, thank you for that.